of 366 new local infections and 27 new imported cases. And we also had 5 additional fatalities as of yesterday. And I extend my deepest condolences to the deceased and the members of the bereaved families. Starting from the 31st of January until the 6th of February, we have seen 355 cases of local daily cases on average, and we also see that this is a drop from the previous week. However, when we saw last year during Chuseok holiday, we had about 80 cases on a daily average, and when considering this, we have a very large number of local outbreak right now. And by region, last week we have about 180 cases. We had about 180 cases in the non-metropolitan area, while it dropped to about 97. And in the metropolitan area, we have a slight increase from about 250 to 240 and to 250. And as we see the reproductive index, which has decreased to about 0.94, it has also nearing the 1% mark as well. And we are seeing a cluster infection stemming from many day-to-day venues, including restaurants, sports centers, as well as office spaces. And we are seeing continued cluster infections, and we also see many new variants emerging here in South Korea as well. And considering these multifaceted efforts, we see that right now we are seeing the third wave unfolding. However, we are seeing a downturn in the spread of the virus. However, we still see possible risks of higher infections, and we believe that it is very much so in the metropolitan area. Last week, we have announced to delay and also extend the social distancing measures to another 2 weeks. And we also said that we will be mulling over further adjustments. And we have been talking to many experts and professionals, and we decided to extend the current social distancing scheme. So the metropolitan area will be subject to level 2.4. And 2.5 until the 14th of February, and this is for the next 2 weeks, and a level 2 in the non-metropolitan area. And even during the Lunar New Year holiday, we will have in place the ban on private gatherings of 5 or more people. However, it will not be subject to those family members who reside together. We understand that you must be willing to meet your family members and relatives. However, please note that the Lunar New Year holiday could be a possible spark for further infections, and especially it could be very dangerous for the senior citizens. So we ask you to take particular precautions for the safety and the health of your parents as well as your neighbors, and please refrain from traveling and visiting your hometowns. However, we see a continued prolonged battle against the virus, and we believe that this is inflicting great damages on many people. And centering around the non-metropolitan area, we would like to ease business operation restrictions for multi-use facilities. And in the non-metropolitan area, all of the restaurants, cafes, and indoor sports facilities, as well as the singing rooms, we will be extending the business operating hours to from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. These could be subject to changes and by discretion by the local governments. And we carried out our headquarters meeting this morning, and we agreed that most of the local governments have agreed to extend these business hours. However, the city of Gwangju will be mulling over this going forward. And we will also be cooperating with the local governments as well as related associations to put in place a strict monitoring of the compliance of the social distancing measures, and in order to also promote the further these antivirus measures, we will be promoting them on a daily basis by the local governments. And the government will also intensify our monitoring of these quarantine measures. And if there are also any facilities that breach such measures, we will also have a principle of intolerance, and they will be subject to a gathering ban for the next 2 weeks. And this is subject to all of the facilities going forward. And this special specific adjustment to the social distancing measure is an attempt to recover to our daily routines in cooperation with the many circles of the society. And we have been reflecting the opinions of the experts and also professionals. And we believe that our society has a very multi-layered society, and we believe that we have a very complex society. So therefore, we need to also believe that these social distancing measures need to be based on a sense of responsibility and duty. And to this end, we will be adjusting these measures going forward. And in the process, we will be having a cooperation and communication with the experts as well as the associations in each circles. We believe that many of the micro business owners and many individuals of the public are bearing very much difficulties. However, we still have greater risks of possible infection. We believe that it is a very difficult and challenging time that we are going through. However, please understand that these measures are inevitable, and please comply well with our antivirus measures. And please note that the COVID-19 virus can spread anywhere at any time when it's crowded, confined with poor ventilation. And the fact that we have eased these business operation hours does not mean that we could also facilitate more use of these multi-use facilities. Please take particular precautions as well. In particular, in Seoul City, we have seen the pub, which has been the center of another cluster infection. Likewise, at these multi-use facilities that are crowded and confined with poor ventilation, please take particular precautions. And when you are using multi-use facilities, please take social distancing measures and also wear your face mask, and also see if the place is ventilated on a regular basis. And please note that when you gather with your acquaintances that you do not meet on a regular basis, you have higher risks of infection. And the risk also increases when you do not wear face mask. And yesterday, the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety has announced the possibility of approving the use of the antibody treatment. And we believe that if we start the inoculations and the rollout of the treatment, we believe that we will have room for these adjustment measures. And as you did until then, please abide by these quarantine measures as you did so now, and please protect the virus as well. And even today, we are seeing many advanced countries in other areas that are going through a great increase of the local cases, and we were able to be faring off because we have the public's participation. Once again, we thank you once again. The government would like to also make sure that we exert our full efforts to return your daily routines. Thank you very much.
That wraps up our coverage of the briefing this morning. Thank you for staying with us. We will be back with our regular newscast at 12 p.m. Korea time. Goodbye.
There's been a drastic drop